Fred Gleek here with Bill Deweese. And once again, thank you, Bill, for being my guest on your podcast.
Well, Fred, always good to be your guest on my podcast.
Well, so here's the deal. For those of you watching, listening, whatever you're doing, however you're consuming this information, we are a little bit late in that we're doing this on Monday following your week. So let's go
Right.
back and review last week.
Yeah, last week was a lower week in terms of gross revenue, $3,238.
Oh my God. Did your wife send
Oh,
you the
no.
podcast?
Yeah, I'm in big trouble. I've been given strict orders. I have to bring those numbers up. No, I'm kidding. It's funny. There is if you've been following this closely, it's fairly consistent from week to week, but there's a bit of an ebb and flow. It seems like every 6 to 8 weeks, for a week or two, it'll dip down a little bit, and then it'll get crazy again for another 6 to 8 weeks, and then it'll go down for 1 or 2 weeks. And so, yeah, I'm not concerned about it at all.
Do we have a why behind that?
No, I just think no, there's no real why. I mean, okay, maybe a little bit of one. Here's the best that I can surmise
Okay.
is that all my activity, my marketing and audition activities, they tend to kind of culminate in the perfect storm. I'll work really hard, and then all of a sudden, jobs will come in for the next few months, hot and heavy, and then it'll start to subside a little bit. During which time I'll go back to work and marketing and auditioning pretty heavily, and then within a week or two, then it picks back up again. So
So
that
if you were to give advice to those watching and listening, might it be then I mean, in a position like you're in, this may be a little bit less important than others, but might it then be important to stress that marketing should happen on a regular, meaning everyday basis? You should be
yes.
doing some consistent marketing, so have those ebbs and flows?
Absolutely, because the more you do, the smoother that it will all become. And what happens eventually, you do reach kind of a critical mass where you're doing a lot more recording than you are marketing, and which is the position I'm in now because the work comes in pretty steadily. But I still have to consistently do the other work.
Got it. Okay, so let's take us back to Monday and tell us how that first day went.
All right, Monday I did some work for Cisco on their Cisco One software, internal training, an anti-drug training script. I did some radio imaging for a classic rock station that I do work for. Um, Continued work on this little surgical device called the ortho sensor. I think I may have mentioned it before. It's where surgeons they can align your knee in a knee replacement like a service technician would align a tire on a car. It
Wow.
actually gives them quantifiable measurement so they can know exactly how well the knee is set up so that it doesn't wear out as quickly or create problems for the patient.
I bet when we're done with that surgery too, they sell us some kind of a warranty contract.
No doubt, no doubt. But this is kind of like the latest, greatest thing. It's kind of cool.
Yeah, it
So
is.
it's been a fun project to work on. I did an ad for Suburban Propane. It's a repeat client. This is actually the second project I've done for them. It's always nice when a client comes back to you again. So that's usually it's a sign of good things to come. I did some training for a insurance company called Transform Insurance. It was the first
Yeah.
I'd heard of them.
What you just brought up leads me to a question maybe
Yes.
some people might have. Do you ever research the companies that you're doing work for before or after you do the job? Do you ever like Google them, find out what they do, et cetera, et
I
cetera?
do. I don't do extensive research,
Right,
but if I think it's important to have an understanding of what you're talking about,
right.
generally speaking.
Yeah,
So if I'm doing an audition for a company that I don't get it at all, I'll go to YouTube. That's the first place I'll go, and I'll see if they either have an ad there or if they have a company representative talking about the company. So I have at least an idea, so that I sound intelligent,
yeah,
semi-intelligent.
yeah.
Sound, not that I am intelligent, but that I sound intelligent.
Okay, so was there any other work on Monday then?
Yes, I did. Let's see, work for the Renke Auto Group. I did an ad for them, and they're a new client that found me through my website.
So that's direct business, no
That's
commission need be paid.
direct, correct. I like
Nice.
those. I like those. So, and that was Monday.
Okay.
Tuesday, I did an ad for something called RPM Innovations, and for the life of me right now, I don't recall exactly what it is.
Yeah.
I don't know. I did some training on good documentation practices in business, distracted driver training in Canada, why you should not text and such.
Right.
I did a little ad for there's an auction company that regularly sends me work. And so I did a 30-second ad for them. I did on hold work for National Car Rental. And
Okay.
then I did some more work for Roche Pharmaceuticals, talking about monitoring interventional clinical trials. So some training for them.
I did some work for Roche Biomedical
No, I did not know that.
years ago. Yes.
Okay, what kind of work did you do?
I think I was doing some training work for them where I got up and did some customer service or some kind of
Oh, wow.
training. Yeah.
Well, we both can share them as a credit now because,
We can.
yeah, how about that?
I
Who
do
knew?
live. Yeah.
And that was Tuesday.
Okay.
Wednesday, I did some telephone on hold work for a local bank. I did some proper hand washing technique training, which is
Yeah.
important in the food service industry, particularly. EMT training. Also, another hand washing thing for medical personnel. A lot of hand washing training going on out there.
Yeah. I'm not washing my hands over this issue at all.
No, you're not. Okay, as I can see. And I did some pickups I did an ad a while back called My Wingman, which is something that you can put your drinks on when you're going to sporting events and stuff. So they had some minor changes on the script. So I did that, and that was Wednesday. Thursday, did some work for Microsoft, their Dynamics for MS365. So worked on that. Some more insurance training work. There's a company, ABB, in which I did a training program on avoiding corruption, bribes, and conflicts of interest, how to make sure that you avoid that and what to do if you encounter that.
Now, you may want to share that with some of your fellow state mates in the state of Illinois,
Oh, wow, yeah.
Chicago.
I know, right? I mean, I live in the...
Now, where was this for? Well, who is this? What?
ABB is the company.
Oh, so it's a corporate thing.
Yeah, it's a big corporate thing. And so they obviously take that kind of stuff very personally. And so you got to know what to do if you run into it.
Chances are you won't be seeing a governmental program on that issue because
Yeah, oddly enough, I've not seen...
Yeah.
I would love to record one for our Illinois politicians.
Yeah.
I did some...
Speak of which, Blago's about to get out again.
Is he really?
I heard.
I
Yeah,
didn't even know that. Okay.
he's got former was it state whatever? What was he? Governor? Yeah, Rod Blagojevich is now in the appeals process for something that was accepted because he apparently didn't get fairly treated. Apparently, it was his hair that was on trial.
He's probably as well known for his appearance on Celebrity Apprentice as he is for being the corrupt governor of the state of Illinois. Did some CAD software training on Thursday. And then that was Thursday. Friday, I did some on hold for a car dealership. Global site monitoring and closeout process, some training script. Patient access lesson on effective outpatient order management. It's medical hospital type training. Did some more work for Dunkin' Donuts, their coffee art training where they teach their personnel how to use the espresso machine.
Coffee there.
I'm a Dunkin' Donuts coffee
You'd like their
fanatic.
coffee, right?
Oh, I love it. Yeah, it's the only kind we drink.
Yeah. You know what? I wonder if in a situation like that, you make mention and just say, God, we buy a lot of your coffee. It's really good. You have a great product. Hint, hint. Here's my address.
You know what? Here's the thing. If I actually did work for the end client, because Dunkin' is actually, there's a go-between, a production company. So I'm never in contact. Rarely am I ever in contact with the end client. But that'd be cool. A lifetime supply of donuts and coffee. I'd
Nice.
totally do that.
Yeah, but then you'd have to take a job as a policeman.
Which reminds me, now we're going down a rabbit trail, but they actually every year I have a Dunkin' Donuts a mile down the street from my house, and they have a thing. It's a fundraiser for the local Fraternal Order of Police. They have a cop who literally sits on the top of Dunkin' Donuts, like eating donuts and drinking coffee while they raise money. Isn't that clever?
I love it. That's great. So then, let's see. Now, in the process of last week, were there any pearls of wisdom that came to you that might be of value to those listening and watching?
Well, the main thing was just I had to remind myself that whenever this happens, the first reaction, even though I've done this for a long time and it's nothing new, is like, it's like, okay, wait a minute, Bill. I mean, how many hundreds of times have you gone through this? And when and maybe it's just me, but being self-employed, I always wonder, is this it? Is this week the last week? Will it all dry up on Friday? And
yeah, it's like an actor when the job is over. It's like, will I ever get work again?
yeah, exactly. And you would think after 10 years that I would lose those insecurities, but in the back of my mind, I always think, is this the beginning of the end? Which is totally ridiculous.
The gig might be up, huh?
Yeah,
They might have found out.
But I just have to remind myself, okay, you just got to you dance with who brung you. You do what you did to get there. And that
Yeah.
means you get
It,
back on the horse and you mark it and you audition.
it's funny because I was explaining a similar concept to my stepdaughter Kayla about how poker works, and the concept is variance, which is what we're talking about here.
Right.
Variance is a mathematical and probability term that has to do with the fact that numbers tend to not be precise. And to illustrate that, I asked her the question. I said, if you flip a coin, what are the odds it'll come up heads or tails? She said, 50-50. I said, that's right. I said, but have you ever seen or heard about someone flipping a coin where 10, 15 times in a row it came up one? She said, yeah. I said, that's variance because our $5,000 is about the right place. That's about, if you take your total amount of dollars that you did last year, divided by the number of weeks, you probably came up to right around that, right? I mean,
Last year was was uncharacteristically low, and because the year before that had been about 225, last year it dropped to about 180. And that was really it wasn't because I did anything wrong within the voiceover business. I was really spending a lot more time in the voiceover training side of
got it.
things. And so this year I realized I had to kind of commit myself to spend the time that I had to spend. So I did. And so we're doing about 5,000 on average.
Got it.
A
Yeah.
week.
But I think that variance concept, I mean, unless something dramatically changed in the industry, you can pretty well feel comfortable that you're going to have somewhere around 5,000. Now,
Yes.
let's give an example of like if you were to land one of those big jobs where, all of a sudden you might get some big contract that's a couple $100,000.
Yeah.
And that could be possible given the fact that you're working with the higher end agents now. And that, again, that might be variance on the upside.
Right. Yeah, kind of an outlier. It's the kind of thing that if it could happen, odds are against it. Well, I shouldn't say against it. I mean, it will happen, and it does happen on great occasion, rare occasion. I've never had a $200,000 job, but actually, I was in the running for one a couple of years back.
Okay, now that $200,000 job, just so people can salivate and think about it, what was that for, and how much time commitment would that have been?
It was to be they never revealed who the company was, but it was to be the voice of one of the new smartphones. It was either a male Siri or whatever Samsung uses. I don't know. It was one of those two. And it would require a trip to San Francisco where I would have to stay there for, I think it was a 2 or 3 month thing. And you would be recording every day.
Wow.
Yeah. So it was a pretty big commitment, and I made the short list on that, which was kind of cool.
Well, you know what? That brings up another good question. What if you would have taken that job and been unable to work for all these other clients?
Well, I mean, that was a real concern, and I thought about that, and I'm not willing. I'm not willing to give up what I have for one $200,000 job over the next 3 months. As tempting as that may sound, because I have a career now that generates that for me plus every year.
Yeah.
What I would have done is I would have made sure that I had a suitable mobile rig that I could take with me to a hotel room. I would have communicated extensively with all my clients to ensure that, in the afternoons and evenings when I wasn't in the studio working on this gig, that I could do.
So you would have been just massively double dipping and getting.
Yeah. For 2 or 3 months, I'd have been very glad to do that.
Yeah, very happy to do so.
Because every time you would have pressed that little button on your phone,
Yeah.
if you had selected the male version of the voice, then I would have come up to answer all your questions.
Which Kayla, by the way, has. She has the male version of Siri on her. She refuses the female version.
Well, I missed it by that much.
Too bad. So, any other thoughts? Did we go through all of Friday yet? I'm not
Yes.
sure.
No, that was it. I do believe.
Well, there you have it. And make sure we want people to say that you love us on iTunes and
Yes.
give us positive reviews and all that stuff. Very helpful, by the way, to moving this podcast up the ranks and making it more popular. So we implore you to do that. And also, we may want to let people know yet again about, as of tomorrow, we're on week 3 of the pay to play webinar. Tell people a second about that.
Yeah, week 3 of the 5-week series, the VO P2P Success webinar series. So these are like 90-minute sessions where we're talking and answering questions regarding how to make pay-to-play sites like Voices.com and Voice123 work for you. And these sites are very profitable if you understand how to work them properly. But the website is VOP2PSuccess.com.
Great. Well, thanks very much, Bill. And again, I know you need to get back to work, so I'll let you go on a Monday afternoon here.
Thanks, Fred. Talk to you soon.